Hello, my name is Sébastien Gobert, and you are listening to one more podcast by the French-Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. My guest today is Alex Lissitsa. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Alex, you are the CEO of the company Industrialnoj Molochnoj Company, the IMC, and also the president of the association Ukrainian Agribusiness Club, UCAB. I am pleased to talk with you today because we are not going to speak that much about coronavirus and about the quarantine measures that are enforced in Ukraine. But with you, I would like to discuss something also very important that happened in Ukraine over the past few weeks. It is the lifting of the moratorium on land sales. We saw that it was an uphill battle fought in the parliament that lasted a few months. So my first question would be, what do you think about the result?
It's a kind of compromise. Not everybody is very happy about that law, but at the same time we see that the land issue is very, very sensitive to the Ukrainians, to the Ukrainian countryside. And that means we say, okay, that's a first necessary step. Okay, we are not really happy with, but in the end, we say better that law than nothing. So, and we do say that actually next year we don't expect a huge movement on the land market because only Ukrainian citizens will be able to buy from July 2021 up to 100 hectares land. So that means there will be not really a number of transactions, but at the same time the companies, the legal entities have time to be prepared for the opening of the land market in January 2024 for the legal entities up to 10,000 hectares of land. So that means it's not that bad. It sounds, and I think that's a right step in the right direction.
But do you believe that all technical conditions are ready for the implementation of the law?
Of course, there are few issues because in the 90s, when the land was shared between the former workers, of course, they have not used the electronic cadastre. They just used the meter, and they have actually done a kind of measurement with the physical units. Of course, there are movements, 1 meter, one direction, 1 meter, another one direction. Of course, there will be also discussions because a lot of land, which is still agriculture land, but is on the forest. So there will be discussions. But at the same time, I would suggest like 90% of the land is in the cadastre, is properly fixed and registered. So that will be not a big discussion. Of course, for the banks, it would be not easy to finance transactions of buying the land because there is no market. So the bank is, of course, interested in some fixed assets like collateral, but at the same time, the bank should be actually secured that if they take a collateral, they will be able to sell that. So, and that's the question, what kind of price would be for the land? So what kind of collateral would be used? And I think they are open questions which can be answered only when the market opened and started to work.
And how is your company IMC positioning itself to prepare for the implementation of the law?
I think at IMC will be happening nothing again until 2024 because the market will be practically not established. There will be few transactions, but nothing else. So until 2024, we are going to be prepared. That means we will establish the Ukrainian legal entities, which will be able to buy the Ukrainian land. So we will negotiate with the foreign institutions, which will be financing IMC as a public company, and then we will actually be able to buy the land. So that's actually for us not that bad, to have more time to be prepared for that.
And another pressing issue, very interesting to our listeners from the Chamber of Commerce, how do you think the President and Parliament are going to deal with the issue of opening the land market to foreigners?
As you know, the first draft law in September 2019 was actually quite friendly to the foreign owners which actually have invested into Ukrainian agriculture. And I'm personally also for the foreigners, so we need to give access to the foreigners to buy the Ukrainian land and to invest in the Ukrainian agriculture. So I think the decision was with referendum, I think that's not really good decision. It's very populistic. And I do hope that the next parliament or till 2024 will be done nothing, but in 2024, 2025, probably they will actually take the restrictions for the foreigners, and the foreign companies and the foreign people will be able to buy the land.
So you also see the solving of this issue as a simple question of time. I see that you're quite optimistic about the implementation of the law.
I mean, the land market issue is a very important issue. And that means, if we start to do something, to invest and to see Ukrainian agribusiness in a long-term perspective is absolutely necessary. It's absolutely necessary. There is no discussion. The second issue is, which is very important, we have climate change everywhere in the world. In Ukraine as well, especially the South Ukraine, which even 40, 50 years ago in South Ukraine we were able to produce sugar beet. Right now that's nothing possible without irrigation. And that's the key question actually. Who is going to invest in irrigation between $3,000 and $5,000 per hectare without the land as ownership? Nobody. So how can we invest in such interesting projects like long-term projects like nuts production, apple, fruits, vegetables, medicine, grasses, etc., etc. So that's an opening actually for the new perspectives for the Ukrainian agriculture. So, and I think, I'm pretty sure right now it's difficult to say what will be the big effect on the whole sector, but it's clearly that the land market will change the farm structure here in Ukraine, and clearly will change also their countryside, and that's actually a good sign.
Thank you for mentioning the issue of climate change. It was going to be my last question, because we see already now that the rivers in Ukraine reached a historical low level, and it looks like the summer will be very dry after winter without snow. Is it going to affect the harvest? And do you believe that Ukrainian agriculture is ready to face the challenge of a very dry summer?
I mean, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen in summer, but we have had a very warm winter, and that's starting of the problem. We have really lack of water in the ground, and that's the problem right now what we have. So that means if we take a different type of crops and separate them, then I think for winter wheat will be not a big problem, probably in South Ukraine, because last weekend we have rain practically everywhere in Ukraine. Next weekend we do expect also rain, so that means there will be, from the winter wheat will be not a big problem. I do see problem, of course, for corn and sunflowers, especially for the sunflowers and soybean, because they need exactly water, and they need actually quite warm temperatures. So what's going to happen in summer, nobody knows, but what we see right now, it's quite cold. For April is cold, and that affects also negatively the vegetation of the plants. So if you take a look, normally end of April, we have like the plants 2-3 centimeters over the ground. Right now, nothing happening. It's just too cold. So that means I'm not sure the summer will be very hot or very cold. I'm not sure what's going to happen with rain, but what we see right now, there's a really lack of water in the ground. That's really the problem.
Thank you very much for such a comprehensive analysis that reminds us so many issues are connected and interdependent. Very, very complex questions indeed. Thank you very much, Alex Lissitsa.
All the best to you.
Thank you very much for listening to one more podcast by the French-Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I am Sébastien Gobert. Let's meet soon for our next conversation.